In this video, I will create an advanced AI voice agent using Retell AI's new conversational flow. Traditionally, on this channel, I have been building voice agents using a single prompt. This prompt serves as a set of instructions that guides the voice agent in completing a series of tasks, helping it to understand what needs to be done and when. Single prompt voice agents are great for booking appointments, sending data to CRM systems, and answering general questions. However, the scale at which we can take a single prompt is just far less than when we can start to connect multiple prompts together. And this is where conversational flows come in. My name is Brendan, and I've been creating AI agents for small to medium-sized businesses for almost 2 years at my agency, Inflate AI. I've used various tools to create automation workflows and more recently to develop AI voice agents. If you have yet to explore conversational flows and have only used single prompt agents so far, this will be a great video to learn how to build them and when to use them as well. At our agency, we primarily build voice agents using single prompts. However, a percentage of our clients have required the use of conversational flows. And the main reason for this is simply the number of pathways and conditions required for these more complex builds. To give you a real example, here is a visual diagram we created for a client requiring the setup of a single prompt agent. And now let's compare this to a diagram for one of our conversational pathway clients. So as you can see, there is quite a significant difference in the scale of these voice agents. Recreating this diagram via a single prompt is incredibly difficult, and its reliability will certainly be less than that of a more conditional approach. Let me know in the comments below if you do want to see a video comparing single prompt agents and conversational flow agents, in which I discuss some of the pros and cons of each. The voice agent that I'll be building in this video will be for a hotel, and the features I'm going to build out for this voice agent will include the ability to book rooms, learn about the hotel services, checking in and out of your hotel room, recommendations for food and activities, requesting room service, requesting housekeeping, and live transfers to the front desk or security. To download this template, you can visit my school community, which is linked in the description. We also have quite a vibrant community of voice AI enthusiasts. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to ask in the community. So jumping right into it, I've gone ahead and created a brand new workspace here on Retell AI, and I'm going to start from scratch building out a conversational flow agent. So to get started, we are going to go ahead and click create an agent. I'm going to go ahead and click the conversation flow agent. So like I said, typically we have been building these single prompt agents, and what Retell says, it's for short calls and straightforward tasks, which I would definitely agree with. The single prompt agents you can actually take quite far in how they get, although the reliability of them, once you start to add more context and you start to add more complexity to it, the conversational flow agents will actually become easier to use in terms of testing over time. So we're going to go ahead and click the conversation flow agent. Once we've gone ahead and done that, we're going to land on a page that looks just like this. And so these are just a bunch of templates for the conversation flow agents. We're not going to be using a template. Like I said, we're going to start from scratch. So once we've hit the start from blank button, what we're going to land on is this canvas page right here. So this is the Retell conversation flow agent. If you've used platforms like VoiceFlow for chatbot building, it's a very similar platform in how we are connecting blocks together. And this is where we're going to be building everything. So just to give you a quick rundown of everything, the way that it works is, like I said, we have this canvas here, and essentially what we can do is add in these nodes. So nodes are essentially all of the elements to put together our voice agent. So we can create conversation nodes. Conversation nodes are essentially our prompts. So if we want to prompt it to say something, or we can even have it say a static sentence. So if we want it to be very deterministic, we want to output an exact sentence, we can do that using the static sentence button here. So that way, so this is something that you weren't obviously able to do through a single prompt, which it was all AI. We now have a bit more of a conditional aspect to this. So some of our other nodes include function calls, of course. So making requests to other applications, whether that's booking appointments, sending information to CRM systems, all of that we can do through functions. So if we just click there, we will have to create a tool that plugs into it. That could be checking calendar availability. I can just hit save and leave that for later. We'll click add, and that will populate on our dashboard. And what we can do is essentially just drag everything around and build our conversation through this visual display. So we can edit our function by just clicking on it, go into the function here, and then we can just see it again, and we click the edit button. Otherwise, we can add new functions and then add them on the page as well. Then below the function, we have the call transfer. So once again, we've got individual nodes for these elements. So the transferring of a call is just similar to like a function call, although that's just transferring the call. Very similar to these single prompt agents. All we're going to be able to do in this case is just have it go down a single path. As you can see, they're just connected a node, so I can actually delete the node and I can grab this flow right there and we can connect the two together. And when we click into the transfer call, you'll see all these settings here are exactly the same as it was on the single prompt agents. All we can do is add in a phone number that we want to transfer to. We can do a cold transfer if we just want to send the call to that number. We can do a warm transfer if we want to provide a handoff message, so actually giving them some context as to what this call is about. And we can do that through prompting it, or once again, a static sentence we can do through there as well. Then below the call transfer, we've got pressing digits. So if you want to enable the user to press some digits and send through some numbers, you can do so using the press digit module as well. Once again, that's the exact same as the single prompt agent. It's just that we're constructing this sort of like Lego blocks on a canvas here, plugging everything together and setting up conditions to move between them. And below this, we then have the logic split node. So I'm going to come back to what this actually means in a second. But first, I do want to go through what transitions are. So transitions are sort of creating a series of conditions or reasons to move the conversation further. So let's have a look at the first start node that's been automatically generated with the blank template. It says, hello, this is the customer support department. How can I help you today? So that is going to go ahead and get read off as a static sentence here on this node. And then below this, you'll see the transition steps. So transition, we have gone ahead, or they've gone ahead and set these two sentences right here that says if the user needs to return a package. And all that means is if, very simply, the user says that they need to return a package, what we can do is go down to this little bubble right here. And this is going to cause us to trigger an event essentially. So we can drag this from here. You can click and hold and move directly to the next block. And what's going to happen is that if somebody says they need to return the package, it's going to go ahead and move on to the next node. And then the exact same for the transition below it. We can have multiple, we can have many, we can add as many transitions as we like to this, and based on the conditions of what the user said. So it's all done automatically through AI. Of course, it's just looking at the context of the conversation. It's looking at the context of all your transitions and determining which one should be triggered. So if the user said that they need to check their order status instead of returning the package, we can then determine it to go down a different path. And so then coming back to our logic split node, essentially all we're doing is running a set of transitions rather than running a conversation where we have to include a prompt or a static sentence. We can include just the transitions to be ran for whatever reason. And then below this, lastly, for the node, different types of nodes, they have an ending. So very simply, if you want to end the call at any point, we can also use the end call node. Very simply, this just ends the call. So you can essentially have it, if somebody would like to return their package, we can have a set of conversations go through and we can end the call right after that, very, very simply. So that is pretty much it for the new sets of features for the conversational flow agents. Everything else is exactly the same as single prompt agents. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, we've got agent settings with a global prompt. So we still have that global prompt that we used over with the single prompt agents. We can still use this and we can add context, which you definitely still want to do. Give us some context about the role, the task, the objectives for the call. Add all of that in here still. We're going to have our knowledge base, of course, speech settings, all of the exact same settings are still here. But anyways, I'm going to jump into building our conversational flow agent for the hotel. So firstly, I'm just going to go ahead and delete everything that's on my page right now. We can use the three dots here to delete everything, so we won't need these right now. We will come back to this in a minute. I'm also going to go ahead and just delete the second conversation there. So we're going to start with one single node to kick this off. We're going to add in a static sentence for the hotel. So I could just go ahead and say, hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today? So very simply, I just said, hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today? Or what's going to happen is that we've selected static sentence. It's just going to read out the sentence using the voice models that we've chosen. So in our speech settings or in our agent settings, we're using an 11 Labs voice here. When using GPT-4o, it's pretty much just going to read this out. So we can go ahead and test this right away just to prove that this will work. To test our agent, we can go ahead and click the test button next to the global settings right here. Once you click that, you'll land in here. We can just click test large language model. Once you've done that, you'll land on this page here and we can simply say, hello, ask it a question. And we'll see, hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today? So once again, very, very simple. It will just show you that. One thing to note, you'll also see there is a node transition. So this is once again, different to our single prompt agents. It's going to be giving us an indication of when the node is transitioned between one or the other. So you can see here, it was at the begin node, which is just the initiation of the conversation. And then we say new node, welcome node. So it's great for tracking, great for seeing what messages trigger different nodes and just doing some debugging as you go. But anyways, let's continue the build. The first flow that I wanted to build out was going to be the ability to book a room. So pretty much for this voice agent, we're going to have two different flows. We're going to have new customers and existing customers. Obviously, if we're going to be doing housekeeping requests or food delivery requests, we're going to be having customers that are new wanting to book rooms, and we're going to have customers that are existing wanting to get services for their existing rooms. So the way that we can handle this is just having it automatically detect if their inquiry is of someone that is an existing guest or is a new guest. So pretty much if somebody wants to make a booking, it's going to be a new customer. If somebody wants to just simply ask questions about the services, we'll assume that that is a new. Otherwise, if they are looking to get room service or housekeeping, we are going to assume that they are an existing customer or active guest. So one of the first things that I'm going to go ahead and do is set some conditions for our first node. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete the ones they've currently got. But what I'm going to do is add in the transition to detect if somebody is looking to make a booking. So I like to type them out as user would like to make a booking. We can simply type it out like that, and we'll just run from that flow. So if the user would like to make a booking right out the gate, I said, how can I help you today? User would like to make a booking. We'll go ahead and add in a new conversation. We're going to drag the nodes together from that. And this is going to be our brand new flow, a brand new node for anyone that would like to make a booking. Now we can pretty much leave this on. We don't need to rebuild the prompt or anything like that. We can pretty much say, thank the user for reaching out and ask them when they would like to make a booking. Once we've done that, we can then go ahead and create another set of pathways to go on from here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new pathway that pretty much says user has provided their booking time. And then once again, we're going to be continuing on creating new nodes for each step of the conversation that we want to have occur. Now this, once again, this is very basic. So obviously we've just built these sort of, if the user wants to do exactly what we said to do, once if they've provided their booking time like we liked, we're going to continue. One thing we will add into this is if somebody doesn't provide that time. So in some cases, maybe somebody doesn't know when they want to book for, they're not quite sure yet. We probably want to add in some conditions for that. So we could say user has not provided a booking time. We'll add that there, and we can essentially just set our own condition for what should happen if that happens. Now to organize this better, I might just add this up here and add this up here. So under this, I'm going to go ahead and create a new pathway for checking in and out of the hotel. So I might actually add a condition that just says user would like to check in to the hotel, give it some context, and then we'll add another one that just says user would like to check out of the hotel. So two different pathways for two different situations. I'll go ahead and create a new conversation node, add that right there. User would like to check into the hotel, we'll add that right there. And we can just say, thank them for reaching out. Please ask them for their booking code. So thank them for reaching out. Please ask them for their booking code. So this might be something that was sent in an email. Once again, this is just a mock use case for the conversational flow agents here just to demonstrate it, but ask them for their booking code. And we could pretty much, once again, just say user has provided their booking code. And then below this, we can create one that just says user cannot provide their booking code. So we can then once again add a new set of pathways based on this. So the next thing that I might do if we're going to be checking a user into the hotel or at least receiving a booking code is probably run a function. So a function, we can go ahead and click into here, add a custom function. So once again, very similar to the single prompt agents, we're going to be running custom functions as well. So we can create this and just call this the bullet check-in. We can description when the user would like to check in to the hotel. And what we can do here is go ahead and create an automation. So obviously if you're going to be building out this for a real business, so obviously if you're going to be plugging this into a real business, into a real database of some sorts, you're going to want to send this data or retrieve data from a real place to confirm or deny that somebody has the correct booking code that they're referring to, and that we can continue the conversation to go ahead and book them into their room. But for the purpose of this video, I will go ahead and create like a fake mock sort of data set to send through in this case, just to prove the point of it working. And I'll do that through make.com, but I'll come back to that later in the video. But I'll just go through more of the conversational flow aspects first. So if somebody would like to check out of the hotel, it's going to be a very similar node to this. We can just click duplicate, drag that over here. We're going to then add a new node. Thank them for reaching out. Please ask them for their room number. Somebody's checking out, that's completely fine. We'll just get them to capture their room number, change this to as provided their room number. User cannot provide their room number. And now once again, we can build our new sets of flow based on this. So if the user has provided their room number, we'll click on conversation, drag that up there. and we'll just say thank them for providing their room number. And then if they cannot provide their room number, we'll set up another condition. In this case, we can do it really any way we'd like. We can just click on the conversation here. If somebody can't provide their room number, maybe they've forgot it, whatever reason. In this case, might just ask them to get that room number. Otherwise, it's just going to have to be something that they go to the actual front desk for. So we can just say, please provide the room number. Otherwise, please visit the front desk at the ground floor to check out of your room. And then once again, we could add in a new condition. We obviously are just adding this sort of secondary confirmation step. If you really don't have your room number, you are going to have to go to the front desk in this case. So we can once again say user has provided their room number, add in a new condition that says user cannot provide their room number. And what we can do is we can, if the user provides their room number, we're good to go. We'll go back up to this part of the flow. And then if the user cannot provide their room number, maybe we'll do a call transfer. So we can transfer the call right here. They can't provide their room number. They're looking to check out. We're going to go ahead and transfer the call. So we say, please provide the room number. Otherwise visit the front desk. Maybe we'll actually change this to say, please provide the room number. Otherwise we will transfer you to our front desk to check out. So in the case, we can do this as our front desk. We could even change the name here if you'd like to. Front desk, drag that there. User cannot provide their room number. Front desk is where it's going to get transferred to. And we can just leave this as this random number right here. And we'll do a cold transfer to that number. And pretty much that'll be it. Once that transfer has happened, you can continue the conversation if you like. But I think for the most part, we are just going to end the call right after that. So it's either going to transition. If the transfer fails, it'll end the call. Otherwise, it's just going to end the call once that transfer happens as well. Coming back to this part, if they have provided their room number, once again, what we might do is create a function call to go ahead and go into maybe a spreadsheet of data. Like I said, this is just a mock example, and pretty much add in that this user has checked in, or we could just send an SMS or a WhatsApp or an email to anybody that just says, hey, room number 831 has checked out. So I might actually replace this right here where I'm thanking them for providing their room number, and we might just replace this with a function. So I can delete this, and just replace this with an actual function. So call this the checkout, and we'll just call this when the user would like check out of their room. And we can pretty much add in a fake URL here just to get it working, make.com, and we'll go ahead and just hit save. We've now got checkout, hit add. We've now got this transition function right here. If they provide their room number, it's going to run this function right here. And otherwise we can have it continue the conversation. So one thing we might do is based on the condition of this function, what's going to be happening is that we're going to be potentially connecting into a live database. This is a real hotel. We can have it connect into their management system, and we can pretty much just say if room was checked out successfully. So it will go down this way if it was checked out successfully. Otherwise we can say if room was not checked out successfully. So two different flows, the automation works, the automation doesn't work. We're gonna have two different outcomes. The automation doesn't work. If it wasn't able to check them out, there was some issue with the system happening there. What we could pretty much do is create a new conversational flow, potentially even a static message, because it's gonna be pretty much the same for everybody, but we can use the prompts. Either or is fine. We can just say, sorry, we were unable to check you out via the phone. We are now going to transfer you to our front desk. So we're now going to transfer you to a front desk, drag this to this once that's happened. So we're going to take our pathway here and go down to the front desk for a call transfer. We can just change this transition condition to being essentially what's just happened. So we could just say if the room checkout failed, leave that there, boom, boom, and that should work. Now, obviously we need to test this and make sure that that works. But for the most part, if the room checkout failed, it's going to go ahead and transfer the call. So we've got a good amount of nodes going at the moment. Let's give it a test by clicking the test button up here. We're going to test large language model. We can click into the manual chat here and let's see what happens. Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today? If we want to go down the path of checking out, we can just say, hi, I'd like to check out. It's now gone down this path here. You can see by the sort of the lines going around the node there. Thank them for reaching out. Could you please provide with your room number? We'll say 831. Click that right there. And we'll see what happens. I'll let that load, see if it recognizes. You can see there, something just happened. So what you'll see is it went down two pathways right there. So pretty much we provided the room number. It went down this path to check if it was successful or it was a fail, because there is nothing happening at the moment with this function. Of course, I haven't connected anything. Thought that it was a fail. It's gone down this path to say, sorry, we were unable to check you out of the room. We're going to transfer you to our front desk. And now it's landed here. So we'll see that it's done the checkout. It's done the node transition. In that case, we can click into here. Checkout conversation is where it's landed, and now it's stuck stuck here. So it hasn't actually moved from this transition node to the front desk. So there is something that we will have to do here. So to fix the issue that we had there, we can actually just remove having a transition completely from this step here. By doing that, we can just click on skip response. So when we skip response, we're essentially not waiting for somebody to say anything. In this case here, we didn't need to wait for anybody. We pretty much just said, sorry, we're unable to check you out via the phone. We're now going to transfer you. We can click on this, click the skip response. So jump to the next node without waiting for a user response. Once that happens, we can jump straight to the front desk just by dragging that there. So we can give that another shot and see if that actually transfers us. Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today? We'll say I want to check out. It's going to go down the checkout path. Can you get me a number? 831. It's now going to start loading the function call. It is going to eventually fail the function call there. It hasn't worked, of course. We can see that through here. So we've provided 831. It's gone from the conversation tab right here to checkout. It's gone from checkout to get an error through here. So assume it just sees error and just sees that as a fail. It moves from checkout to conversation as we've mapped out. It's read out the message through the prompt here. So sorry about that. It seems like we're unable to process your checkout over the phone right now. I'll transfer you over to our front desk and they'll assist you further. Hold on just a moment. And then the skip response has just gone straight to there. So transfer call right there and tool result, we'll see that it transferred successfully. So perfect. We've now got a system to check out successful or unsuccessful calls through the system. Now, another really key part of the conversational flow agents here is something called the global node. So when we're in the conversation here, and I can test it once again to show you, but pretty much the way that it works at the moment is that it's very conditional. It means that we can't jump around these nodes or jump to another set of flows if we're currently in one flow. And this restricts us quite a lot if somebody makes a mistake in what they want to do. So if somebody says, I'd like to check out, and they actually meant to say check in because for whatever reason they got confused, they're not really going to be able to actually change that flow. And so the way that we can handle this and fix this to make it better is using something called the global node. So if I go ahead and look at this node right here, this is the first step in allowing somebody to check into the hotel. What I could do is pretty much go to the global node right here, allow other nodes jump to this node without edges. We can click on this right here. You will see the global node tab appear above this particular module, appear above this particular node. You can describe the condition to jump to this node right here. So we can just delete this and we're going to add in a condition. So this is for anyone that wants to check in. So we could say if a user would like to check into the hotel. So now if we're at any point in the conversation and we decide that we actually wanted to check into the hotel, and we say that, it's going to jump the node straight to here. And this allows us to get a much more dynamic conversational experience, something that would be mimicked to a single prompt where you could pretty much say it anything and it's going to have context to handle that situation. We can essentially mimic this by using the global node. So we can go down to checking out of the hotel, global node, delete the current setup and just say, if the user would like to check out of the hotel, add in a global node for that as well. So let's test this out. We'll go to test. We'll begin a conversation through here. We'll just reset the chat by clicking delete button, type hello. Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today? I'll just say, hi, I'd like to check in. It's going to go down the path of checking into the hotel. Let it load here. And pretty much what's going to happen is once that initiates, we could say, sorry, I actually meant to check out. Let's say somebody's just said check in. They weren't thinking, they got jet lag. We're going to say, sorry, I meant to say check out. Meant to say check out and boom, now that has worked. See, it's jumped nodes. We didn't have a pathway. We didn't have any individual link between these nodes, but it's been able to trigger that and says, I've got it, no worries. Could you please let me know your room number? So really good feature there using the global node. Definitely something to look into and use to make the system much more conversational. But anyways, coming back to our checking in process or checking out process, sorry. If the room was checked out successfully, we would go down a separate path. So conversation, we'll grab here. If it was checked out successfully, we're going to say, thanks for staying with us. Have a safe travel. Add that up there. We can pretty much just skip, once again, add a skip response. We don't need a response to this. It's just a simple message right here and we can create an end node. So we'll just go to ending, end the call. That's happened, done, we'll end the call. Now you can make it more conversational. If we wanted to say, thanks for staying with us, have a safe travel. Potentially we could add in a transition here. We could delete this and turn off skip response and pretty much just say, user has no further questions. And we can add in another pathway that just says, user has further questions. We could pretty much leave it like that. If they've got no further questions, we'll end the call. We can change our prompt to say, have a safe travel, ask them if they have any last questions. So now it's going to ask them and prompt them for that. If they got no further questions, it'll end the call. If they do have further questions, we could essentially answer them through the conversation. So let's give this a test. We'll go ahead and reset our current test chat. and type hello. In this case, we are going to be checking out of our hotel. So I'd like to check out. It's going to go down this path. Thank you. Room is 831. It's going to then go down the path of running a function call to do that. It's going to realize it fails. Okay, so in this case, we didn't get to go down that path because it failed. Obviously, we weren't running a real condition there. If we wanted to, we can modify this now to actually work. So if we actually want to get this thing set up and working for successfully checking them out of the room, what we can go ahead and do is go to our function here, click the checkout button. We can go ahead and edit this and add in an actual function call. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to make.com. If you're not familiar with make.com, this is essentially an automations platform. If we want to run sending information anywhere, connecting apps together, it's a really powerful platform to do that. But anyways, if you have used it before, what we're essentially doing is setting up a webhook, creating a custom webhook to send information to, click the add button to create a new URL to send information towards. So we can go ahead and just call this the checkout webhook. We'll hit save. You don't have to add any specific name there. It's essentially going to, it's just for our naming conventions. Click copy address to clipboard. We'll come back here and add that in here. We'll click save. Then what I'm going to do is essentially go ahead and add in a webhook response. So we can just click webhook response right there. And what we're going to do is add in some commas there. And all we're going to do is just say the checkout process was successful. And now once we run this function, it's just going to pull back a message that says the checkout process was successful. And hopefully our retail system detects that and pretty much takes us down that path. So if I go ahead and click update here, it's going to then fix that. We'll hit save once again. What we can do is turn this on right here. We're going to save it first. Click up here and click save. Then we can go up here and click on. Once this is turned on, this will just run immediately as data arrives, and we'll give it another shot. So we'll click test, reset our conversation, and we're going to type hello. Hello, this is Emily. How can I help you today? Hi, I'd like to check out. It's going to go down the path of checking out. Room number is 831. It's now going to go ahead and do something. And there you can see right there, it's been successful. So no transition. It's gone from conversation to checkout. The checkout process was successful. So perfect. Now, obviously, this is just pulling back fake data to prove the point. But what we could do in this case is actually go ahead and add in a series of applications to actually give you legitimate data. So if you wanted to use a hotel's application, typing hotel here, obviously anything, if you're using HubSpot, Zoho, you can pull through any CRM system, of course, and actually send data, retrieve data, and do the whole suite of automations to make this thing work properly. But otherwise, that has worked perfectly. Transitioned to our conversation mode that says, great, your checkout process is successful. Thanks for staying with us. Have a safe travel. Do you have any last questions before you go? I'll say, no, I don't. And we'll see it is now ended the call right there. So you can see, perfect. So that's done exactly what we wanted. So what we're going to do, and one thing you will notice when you start to build out these agents is that you do need to organize them. This is not like a single prompt. That's just some text. You will need to organize your agent on the flow here. So we can just drag and drop, which is really awesome. We can just put these all down and make it nice and organized. As you start to build out more conversational flow agents, you will notice that it gets very messy in the actual flow and in the diagrams. And you will need to organize them to look nice. So we can just drag it like that. We can open up some more space to begin building our additional flows. Now, lastly, if I come back to our checkout flow, there was also a user has provided their room number. At the second step here, we can just drag this and put that up to this checkout node right here. I've got to land right on the dot. Now, essentially, if somebody says they can't find their room number, we ask them to double check. They do find it. It's going to then obviously go through, process that information and continue the automation. But otherwise, everything is pretty much connected. If the user has further questions, we can also create additional nodes to answer them. Before I build out some of the additional flows, I am now going to jump back into some of the more basic settings, which are the agent settings for building out your prompts. So similar to the single prompts, or exactly the same as the single prompt, we can build what they call is the global prompt. So in here, we are building out a set of instructions to give context to the agent to just understand what's going on. At the moment, the agent might know that it's Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. That's pretty much all it knows. It's really just basing its conditions on what we've given it. It doesn't have a whole lot of context. And so when you think about reliability and scalability of a system like this, adding in a global prompt is going to make this far better. So going into our global prompt, I can add in a role. So like all my typical single prompt agents, I'm going to use the role as the first part of this prompt. I'm just going to say, you are Emily, you work for Miami Beach Hotels. You work as a digital receptionist, helping new or existing customers with our services. So a really basic, streamlined way. You are a digital receptionist, helping new or existing customers with our services. That's really enough context to give it an understanding of who it is as an agent. Next, I like to add in a task. So a task is essentially what its objective is as a whole. So your task is to help customers make new bookings, teach them about our hotel services, help users check in or out of our hotel. And I might actually format this prompt slightly differently just because of the amount of tasks and services that we're going to be offering in this particular agent. The task is to help customers make new bookings. What we're going to do is pretty much say your tasks. We're going to say this, help customers make new bookings. We're going to add a new line, teach them about our hotel services. We're going to add a new line, help users check in or out of our hotel, provide recommendations for food and activities, help with room service requests, help with housekeeping requests, and then lastly, transfer calls to the front desk or security. So just giving it a really brief overview of all of the tasks that we offer, just giving it more context, which is really, really important. We don't have to dive as deep into the global prompt as we did with single prompt agents. Obviously, it doesn't need this information to actually work. So we can pretty much just add in a really good brief overview of who they are as a person and what they're working for and why they exist. And that's going to pretty much do the job for now. So we can just leave it there and continue building out our flow. So if somebody would like to check into the hotel, thank them for reaching out. Please ask for them for their booking code. So pretty much somebody's booked in, they've been sent an email with a booking code, and now they're looking to check in as they're at the hotel. So the user has provided their booking code. Pretty much we'll add in a brand new function. So we'll go ahead and click add. We'll click on custom function and we're going to create this in for checking in. So we'll call it check-in. When the user would like to check into their room, we're going to go ahead and create a brand new automation. So once again, same process as before. I'm just going to be doing some sort of mock data to prove the point of the automation. We'll click this add, create a brand new webhook called check-in. Click there, click save. We're going to be doing a webhook response just to send back some information. And we'll just say your room was checked in successfully. Add that in there. Hit save, and that should be good to go. We'll obviously save the entire automation, and we're going to be turning it on as well so it actually works. We will need to also copy our address to clipboard to actually send information to. Jump out of here, jump back here, add the URL, and that is pretty much it. You'll see the parameters here. If you're not familiar with this, we can send custom data. And so this is going to be useful if we want to send through, pretty much sending through the room code. So in this case, we can add an example for the booking code. If I click on example 1 here, we'll get this here. What we're going to pretty much do is create a property that just says booking code, as this is like the name of the value we're sending through. And then we go to description and we can just type, this is the booking code the user provided. And that's going to essentially use AI to determine that through the transcript. And then in the required field, we can remove this, type code. Once that's done, we can go ahead and hit save. And now what's going to happen is that we're not just doing a function call, but we're also sending through some values in that function call. And this is, once again, what you would do if you're building out a legitimate system here, sending off to a legitimate application to pull back some real life data based on the real conditions of the conversation. So we'll click add. It's going to populate our check-in condition right here. If the user has provided their booking code, we're going to move over here to the check-in transition, and we're pretty much just going to run what happens. So if the comes back as successful, if the check-in was a success, click on next. If the check-in failed, so it's how they work. It's going to fail. If they've got a fake booking code, it's not going to work. If their booking code was wrong, it's not going to work. So we'll go ahead and move on. New conversation. If it was a success, we're going to go ahead and say, thank you for confirming your booking code. We have now checked you in for your room, and then done. So we can pretty much have that run. Now checked you in for your room, and we can delete any transition just to prove that that works. If the check-in failed, we're going to add in a new conversation, maybe under here. If it fails, sorry, the booking code you provided is invalid. And pretty much what we can do is ask them to please provide a valid booking code. We can ask them to, or we'll say user has provided a valid booking code. We can then add below this, user has provided a booking code, and below this we say user has not provided a booking code. If they provided a booking code, we can run it again, and it's going to run through with the relevant booking code. If they have not provided a booking code in this instance, we can just create a condition to simply say, sorry, that's not going to work. Sorry, your booking code is invalid. And we can just end that there. So the booking code's invalid. Maybe we could do pretty much a skip response. Once again, organization is something that's really important with these conversational flow agents and building on canvases. We will need to obviously begin to organize a lot of this. So we're going to move a lot of this out the way, move that down there, move that down there. And so now we've got our conditions for checking out, checking in, and let's test if this system is now working. Hi, is this Emily?
Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hey, I was looking to check into the hotel.
Oh, great. Thanks for reaching out. Could you please provide me with your booking code?
Yeah, it's 831.
Thank you for confirming your booking code. You are now checked in for your room. If there's anything else you need, just let me know.
So there you have it. That worked perfectly. That ran through the automation. Jumping into make.com, you'll actually see an automation populate in the history of the executions here. That's worked. And perfect. So that is now working. We've got check-ins, we've got checkouts, both running on 2 different functions in Retell. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish off the top part of this. So user would like to make a booking. Thank the user for reaching out and ask them when they would like to make a booking. If they provided a booking time, we can go ahead and thank them for that. So thank you for providing your booking time. We can go ahead and do a skip response, and we can even run a function from there. So we click function, go ahead and create a brand new function for bookings. When the user would like to check out of their room, we're going to change this to when the user would like to book a room. We're going to go ahead and add in a new make.com URL. So webhooks, custom webhook. We're going to call this the bookings webhook, bookings, save. We do need to copy this to clipboard, add that in there, click save, click here, webhooks, webhook response. I'm going to say your room was booked. Save. Once that's done, make sure that is saved changes, and we will turn that on. We're now going to come back here, and we're going to go ahead and we can add in another parameter to send through. So we can do booking time. This is the time the user would like to book, and we can even go down here and change this to booking time. Save. And we're going to go ahead and get the bookings, click on add, put that in there, skip the response, head to the booking, run the transition. If that is successful, if the booking was made, otherwise if the booking was not made. So we've got 2 sets of pathways there. If the booking was made, obviously we want to say that. So thank them for making their booking. Once we've done that, that's done. And if we want to add a conversation here, if the booking was not made, come down here, or maybe we can actually add this just below here. Sorry, your booking was not made. Please provide us with your booking time. So whatever reason the booking didn't go through, or we could say, sorry, your booking was not made. There is an error with our system, and we will transfer you to our front desk. And we can pretty much once again turn off transitions in this case, and we want to add in a brand new call transfer under this, or over here we can transfer right there. Pretty much transfer the call. We'll add end step there as well, transferred, end the call, and let that go through. So once again, we've got a brand new path there. Booking's made, booking's not made, and we'll give this a shot as well. Hey, I'd like to make a booking.
Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I'd like to make a booking.
Oh, great. Thanks for reaching out. When would you like to make the booking for?
Yeah, I'm looking to make the booking for tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Got it. Thank you for providing your booking time. Let me just confirm you're looking to book for tomorrow at 9 a.m., right?
That's correct.
Perfect. Your booking for tomorrow at 9 a.m. is all set. Thank you so much for choosing Miami Beach Hotels. If you need anything else, just let me know.
So you can see there, that worked pretty well. There were some things you would want to improve. In this case, potentially, we might not even need this part of it. It asks us a question that we didn't need it to ask. So it caused us to say something while it was running the booking. We could potentially even delete this part of it and just skip straight to that. So we could pretty much do that. It could optimize a lot of this stuff, but otherwise that worked well. It did exactly what we needed it to and run the function there as well. Obviously, if you're building this out in a real system, it's going to be more complex. We're going to be capturing a name, a phone number, an email. A lot of those steps are going to be additional conditions and nodes to add in. So we could, move this out. Pretty much what we'll be doing is taking these nodes, move them over here, and potentially we could delete this, add a new conversational flow, and just ask them for their name, or say ask them for their full name, move from here to here, ask them for their full name, move on to the booking once that full name's sent through. If we wanted to, we could add in this step, we could edit this to actually add in an additional property for their name to send through in the automation to add to the booking sheet, of course. We can go here if the user failed to provide their name. So once again, continue on or not continue on. So the next part that I'm going to add to this is going to be a global node for anybody that wants to make transfers for the live help desk or the front desk or the security desk at any point of the conversation. So what we can actually do is add in pretty much our call transfer, just our typical transfer node. We can add it into the start here. But what we can do is make this a global node. So if we go down here to global node, we can trigger this and pretty much say right down here, anyone has any concerns for their safety for security, please trigger this. So what we're essentially doing is saying there's no set path for this to go down. There's no particular step that should be essentially waiting for somebody to have an emergency. It's just if at any point anybody has an emergency, is a security concern. If somebody calls in with a security concern, it's going to go ahead and trigger the global node. So we'll click test and see if this actually works. Test agent. Hey, is this Emily?
Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hey Emily, I was just looking to see if I could get in touch with the security team. And so you could see there, it did go ahead and transfer to that global node. If you saw on the canvas there, obviously I'm just using the web chat, so it's not going to do a transfer, but that triggered perfectly. So to make it even better and more conditional, we can create in another transfer, add in another global node. If we click into this global node, we can say trigger this if the user would like to speak with our front desk/receptionist. So we can have another trigger based on that and set that up there. And so this is going to enable, once again, much more dynamic aspect to it. We've got our conversational flows. We've made it conditional. It's really good for scaled systems and deterministic flows if we want to get that level of accuracy and reliability. But if we do want to add in the sense of fluidness in terms of somebody has an emergency that needs to be triggered at any point, we can do that through global nodes. So definitely recommend, once again, use up the global nodes for elements like this. In addition to the security and front desk transferring of calls, we can also do smaller tasks. So if we don't need to run through an entire flow, like capturing a name. So in addition to running global nodes for the transfers of calls, whether that's security or the front desk, we can also do this for our typical conversation nodes. So we don't have to link everything together. So pretty much we can go ahead and click conversation, drag this node maybe down here, and pretty much we can set this up for maybe room service inquiries. So we can go down here, click on the global node and say, trigger this if someone wants to get room service. Leave that there. Thank them for their call and ask them which menu items they are interested in. So thank them for the call and ask them which menu items they're interested in. We can then just say user has provided menu items. User has not provided menu items. From here, we can then continue our conversation like normal and just continue it from here. So we don't have to create a whole set of transitions on the initial node. From the first part of the conversation, we can actually initiate global nodes at any part of the conversation. So it works similar, but we can disconnect it at this point. Pretty much, once they've asked what they're interested in, they've provided some menu items. Please ask them for their room number, and we can capture that and go down the entire flow. But just to test it out, we can go to the test button up here, test audio. Hi, I'd like to book a room service.
Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'd like to book some room service.
Oh, it sounds like you're looking for room service, but if you're trying to book a room instead, I can help with that too. When would you like to make a booking?
So it seems like it didn't actually work in that case. It didn't actually trigger this for some reason. We'll give it another test call and see why that was. Hi, is this Emily?
Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'd like to get room service.
Oh, sure. Thank you for your call.
So it's now worked in that case. I think because I said I'd like to book room service, it got a little bit confused there. So that is an issue that's popped up and mainly to do with prompt engineering. So one of the more key aspects of the conversational flow agents is going to be fine tuning. So one thing that we can't do too well or too easily with a single prompt agent is fine tuning particular reasons as to why it went down one path. And so in this case, the user would like to make a booking. It was confused. It didn't know if booking was booking a room service or booking an actual room. It doesn't have any way to actually determine the difference between the two. And the way that we can do that is by clicking into our transition, by clicking on the little edit button here, and we can go fine tuning examples. So if we click add, we'll get this brand new page here where we can fine tune a conversation or fine tune the transition. So if we click on this one, we can now provide a set of examples as to when this should be triggered. So we can just delete the agent if we don't want that. So we can do, I want to book a room as the transition for that. We can hit save. And now we've given it one example. We can continue to add these examples. So if we want to continue to add, I want to make a booking for a room at your hotel, a whole bunch of wordings and phrases for what the types of conversations you think would be most appropriate for triggering that particular flow. So this should help to fine tune exactly when it triggers one thing over the other. So we can go back to our global node down here. We can come down to this. We can add in some fine tune examples, fine tune the conversation or fine tune the transition. In this case, it's just the global node prompt that it's really looking at. So trigger something that wants to get room service delivered, maybe we can add that in there. So we'll give that another try. I'll ask it to book a room service and we'll see if it actually helps in this case, because at the moment what we had before was make a booking, not book a room or anything like that. It just says make a booking. So we could prompt this to say make a room booking, and we're going to go ahead and see if that slight change in the prompt actually fixes that issue. Hi, Emily.
Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hey, I'd like to book a room service.
Thank you for your call. Could you let me know which menu items you're interested in?
And there you go. That has just worked perfectly. So as you can see there, you're going to see a lot of those prompt issues pop up where you've got particular parts of the flows that similar or not similar. And that's one way that we can pretty much iterate upon this and fix it and make it better. For the next part of requesting housekeeping, it's going to be the exact same as we've got set up for the room service. We can pretty much just duplicate the nodes that we got here. We'll do duplicate, go to this one as well, click duplicate, go down here. Main thing is just going to be the global node to trigger this. If someone wants to get housekeeping, so there, thank them for the call and ask them for their room number. We might delete this part of it. We'll ask them for the room number right away. If their user has provided their room number, we'll move on to another part of the conversation and we'll just say, thank them for their room number. We will be on our way soon. And we'll just delete this one for the purpose. We'll go click into this, trigger this if someone wants to get housekeeping. So that should be enough. And once again, very simply, this condition should now trigger if we request it to do so. Hello.
Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hey, I was looking to see if I could get some housekeeping over.
Of course. Thank you for your call. Could you please provide me with your room number?
So as you can see there, that has worked perfectly. We've now got a separate global node for housekeeping as well. So you can see how this is all starting to fit together. We've now got this sort of pretty decently sized flow here with a whole heap of global nodes and conditions for different types of inquiries that come through. And now lastly, I'm going to add in recommendations for food and activities. So if somebody wants to ask sort of generalized questions, just providing those types of answers. So I'm going to first check how this works or how it responds without anything that we set up at the moment. And we'll do that now. Hello?
Hello, this is Emily from Miami Beach Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hey, I was looking to do some activities while I was staying here. What is there to do?
Oh, sure. We have a lot of great activities around here. If you're into water sports, you can try jet skiing, paddleboarding, or even parasailing. We also offer beach yoga sessions in the mornings, which are super relaxing. If you'd rather explore the area, there are bike rentals available, and you can ride along the scenic boardwalk. And for something more cultural, you could check out the Art Deco Historic District or visit the local museums. Let me know if you'd like me to help you book anything.
So out of the gate, it is actually already using a bit of the ChatGPT-esque knowledge and context to help answer that question. It knows that it's from Miami Beach and it's pulling that from our global settings that they work from Miami Beach. And it knows that it's provide recommendations for food and activities is a part of the task. So it can already help with that. So pretty much we don't have to do too much on top of it to provide those types of recommendations. Obviously, if you have a set criteria of particular recommendations you want to make, the best place to put that would be the knowledge base. So add a knowledge base right here. You could upload a series of activities that are relevant, maybe some that are included in the hotel, some that are local in the area. You could add in as well as all the food options as well. So really similar to the single prompt agents, obviously in a lot of ways, but obviously very different in a lot of ways as well. So I hope this video was helpful in learning about these conversational flows. If you are interested in more content about these conversational flow agents, definitely let me know in the comments below.